How to transition from a realtor to a real estate investment specialist. That's been my journey. I know this is what I want to do, and then something happens, you get lost, you lose your way. I was chasing buyers, chasing money, and I got burnt out.
Aidelys, I had the good fortune of coaching her one-on-one for about 2 years. And all she wanted to role play with me was what to say and how to say it. That's it. So she would pepper me with questions and I would role play with her. And she turned into this, even though it comes in a nice
small package,
bro, a sales ninja, okay? If you watch some of her content, she records herself like having live conversations with people, putting deals together. And then she made this decision to apply what she learned from a sales perspective, because skills stack, yeah? And apply it to the creative side of business, right? And now she does both, and she teaches agents how to do both. She has a paid community teaching agents. For our partners, they get access to that community for free. And since partnering with us, which was how long ago? 3 months ago? 4 months ago?
Like 4 months ago.
4 months ago, you've done 6 or 7 deals with agents in the community.
Yeah.
They've earned about $200,000 to $300,000 in fees.
Yeah.
You've earned about $100,000+ in fees.
Yeah.
And everybody wins. So the reason why I want to share her with you guys is this is her specialty, is this side. So she's going to talk to you about, okay, procedurally, when these opportunities arise, kind of give you that education so you guys can do more deals. So with that, let's welcome her.
Hey guys. Today I'm going to be talking about how to transition from a realtor to a real estate investment specialist. That's been my journey. Thank you guys for taking the time to be here with us today. My intention is to share my story, hopefully inspire you guys and leave you with actionable steps, with value, and hopefully new ideas that you can implement in your business so you can transform your business as well.
Let's go!
Yay! Gabriela, I need Gabriela in my life and everything that I do to hype me up. Wake up! Yeah, so I was thinking back to real estate investing, because that is a topic that I'm the most passionate about. And I was thinking when it all started for me. And I was reflecting, journaling, and it came to me that it had always been there for me, real estate investing. I just had so many opportunities, and I was introduced to the idea so many times, but I didn't stay on the path. Many of you probably can relate. There's an idea, someone comes to you, you're like, this sounds amazing. I know this is what I want to do, and then something happens, you get lost, you lose your way, and then you think back, what if I had just stayed the course, right? So I started off my career 9 years ago, and I started with a brokerage that was real estate investment focused, because that's where my heart was from day one. So I was really excited. Anything that's new and fresh, we're really excited, at least I am. I was all in. I was calling agents from the MLS to try to get MLS deals. I was calling investors to build relationships, to sell them deals. I went door knocking one day, motivated sellers. So I was doing it all. I was dabbling into a little bit of everything. The key word is I dabbled. The reality is I didn't do anything consistently enough to really see results. So like any 24-year-old with a dream, I wanted to make a lot of money. But back then I didn't have the patience to see it through, or the discipline, or the consistency. So I went another route. I actually found out about Zillow, now that Aaron mentioned Zillow. Zillow leads. So I found an easier way to make the money that I wanted to make. Or in that moment, I thought it was the easier path. Sometimes the path that seems easy ends up being the hard path. So I started working buyer leads. I had a little bit of money that I invested, and then I started closing buyer leads, and I made my first 6 figures closing buyers, right? Yes. So, and I was crushing it. I mean, I was balling. I was making more money than anyone in my family had ever made. For some of you that don't know my background, maybe you can guess by the name Aidelys. I'm Cuban, and I was born in Cuba. I came when I was small. We are an immigrant family, and we weren't poor, right? But I would say we were lower middle class. We had food stamps at some point. We were in Section 8 housing at some point. We lost our house during the mortgage crisis. So before I bore you guys with my sob story, we were lower middle class. So I had never made that much money. So I thought I had made it. This is it, the American dream. At the same time, I thought I had made it, but I was also working Monday through Sunday. I didn't take a day off for 3 years, the first 3 years of my career. My motto was speed to lead. The lead came in, and I would meet them at the property to show the house, no matter what I was doing. So I was at church, lead came in. Sorry, I have to go meet with this buyer. I was having dinner. Sorry, I gotta go. I gotta meet with this buyer. So that was my routine for 3 years. So I miss family events. I was on vacation, but I could never truly be on vacation because I was always thinking about that deal. I was chasing buyers, chasing money. And I got burnt out, really, really burnt out, where I wasn't sure if this is what I wanted to do. But money is addicting. I was making money. So I knew real estate was the way. I just didn't know how to do it the right way. So something had to change. And there's been moments in my career where I would call it now a mental breakdown, because I'm a little bit dramatic. So I wouldn't say it's a mental breakdown, but it was those moments where I really had to sit with myself and say, what do I want to do with my life and my career? And is making money worth it if I have to do it this way? So I had that moment. And then someone came into my life, actually through an Instagram video, Mr. Aaron Novello.
Yeah.
And I hired a coach. I was fed up with buyers. I didn't want to do buyers anymore. So I hired a coach. And that's when I really developed a skill set in sales. I learned how to close on the phone, how to handle objections, how to deal with rejection, how to do a proper listing presentation, how to set expectations. So all my sales skills, the foundation I learned thanks to Mr. Aaron over here. And that stayed with me, right? Because once you learn that skill and you master it, skills are the most important thing that you can have with you. It's never gonna go away, right? So then I started working with sellers and I started getting listings. I started calling FSBOs, expireds. No shade to Mr. Aaron.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I had changed the chase from buyers to the chase for listings. So there was another chase. The reality is I was doing it the hard way. I was going after the same listings that everybody else was going after. I didn't have different tools that I was offering sellers. I was a one-trick pony. Listings, 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 listings. I didn't have the knowledge that I have now about all these other strategies. So yes, I was experiencing success. I was getting listings. Things had changed for me. I wasn't running around. I was doing open houses now for my listings. Things were getting better, and I felt this was the right path. I just didn't have the right tools back then to really see it through. So then once again, guys, I found myself. You want to guess? Burnt out. Yeah, burnt out. Tired of the same thing of the chase. So if you notice, the word chase comes up a lot in my career. I was always chasing something. I was chasing buyers. I was chasing listings. I was chasing validation. And a lot of it was a chase, and I could never figure out exactly how I was going to make this business work for me. So I had to have a heart-to-heart moment with myself and ask myself, I had another breakdown, guys, another mental breakdown. I had to ask myself this question. So I'll let you guys think on it, reflect on it for a second. If you have a notepad, you can write it down. I think it's good for us to take a moment to reflect. Why did you get into real estate? I asked myself that. Write down. Don't be shy, guys. Take it out of your head and put it in writing.
It only works if you're honest. And don't say because you love people, because that's gross. You haven't hung out with enough people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll give you guys some time. Eddie put one thing, to be a millionaire.
Acquire property
Yeah.
and money
Yeah.
There you go.
for passive.
There you go. Go, girl. That was me growing up, as you could tell. All right, I'll give you guys a little bit more time.
Thank you.
And then what I want you guys to do, because now we have limited time, but when you're home and you have a little bit more time, really reflect on this question. Because what I've found is if you do the exercise and you dig deeper and deeper and deeper, there's layers of reasons. And if you ask yourself, why long enough, you'll figure out why. So it starts with money for a lot of people, right? But what is money?
An instrument.
Right. Money is just a word, right? Money, it's not about the money, it's about what it allows us to do. So hopefully none of you put, because you love showings, open houses, or people. Come on, guys. No one likes people all the time, 100% of the time. Not even your significant other, you like all the time. If you're anything like me, hopefully, you don't have any of those previous answers. You put money, obviously, because through money we could do a lot for others. We could do a lot for ourselves. You also wanted time freedom. I don't know, I got sold on the idea that I was gonna be my own boss, have a flexible schedule, right? That's why we became realtors, a lot of us. Listen to a podcast and you're like, yes, they have all this free time, they run their own business. And then you are in the real world, you're a realtor and you find yourself working Monday through Sunday, not having days off, working through your kids' special events, not being able to travel, and if you do travel, you're so stressed out about work. That's not the way that I wanted to live my life. So, once again, I found myself in a transition period of my life and my career. There's been people in my life that have really allowed me to grow and that have impacted me and shifted the way that I see life and I see business. Aaron has been one of them. That's why I'm here with him. Anything that he needs me to do, I come, reluctantly, but I come. And then my business partner was also a big influence in my life. He's the one that took me on the path back to real estate investing that I should have stayed on, right? But I got distracted. There was all these other shiny objects. And then I attended a mastermind, a real estate investing mastermind, a 2-day event. Just like you guys, I was sitting in one of these chairs. Some of you are probably feeling the way that I was feeling in that example, right? So I had heard the message about real estate investing so many times before, but I wasn't ready to listen. That's the reality. I had so many limiting beliefs. I can't do it. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I've been hearing a lot. I just want to focus on listings right now. I can't do this because listings, right? So in that day, in that moment, in that event, I was so fed up with all those beliefs and all those thoughts that were keeping me stuck. So I actually opened up my mind and I told myself, look at what these people are doing. They were talking about creative finance deals subject to seller finance, wholesale deals, fix and flips. They were building a portfolio. They were traveling. They were doing all these cool things and making a lot of money. They were doing real estate a way that I didn't even know was possible. So instead of telling myself, no, 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 I told myself, how? How can I do this? How can I make it part of my reality? If they're doing it, that means I can do it too, right? So once I had that shift in my mindset, because the reason why a lot of you guys are not doing these strategies is because of yourself, your own beliefs, right? So let's talk about 2025, because I gave you guys my sob story, right? Next time I'll bring a violin so we can play it. So fast forward 2025, after that mastermind, I opened up my mind to the possibilities. I got with my business partner, we put some money behind real estate investing and we committed, and here we are, fast forward 2025. There you go. So I actually run a real estate investment business that I am passionate about. I'm a real estate investor and a real estate agent. Currently, we own properties that are generating passive income through Airbnb and long-term rentals. We're building a portfolio through creative finance. We're doing fix and flips, novations. We've done 6-figure deals consistently. And I've built a business around the life that I want to live. So my business doesn't run me. I create it so it aligns with my life. And I am 100% satisfied with everything that I do now. So I'm happy that I made the switch and I'm never going back. So I want to talk to you guys about all these different strategies. But first, I want to hit you guys with some hard-hitting facts. The facts, right? And some of you may not know this. I was doing some research and this was actually pretty shocking for me as well. 62% of real estate agents with less than 2 years of experience made under $10,000 in 2024.
That's 6 out of 10, bro. Independent of what you post on Instagram.
So what about median income, right? Median agent income sits at $56,000. That's including South Florida, guys.
Hey, do you know a manager at Taco Bell makes 70?
Right? Oh, there you go. So that $56,000, for some people, they're like, okay, that's cool. I'm okay with just $56,000. I hope that's not any of you here, but that's before taxes, before business expenses, before brokerage splits. After everything, most agents are taking home closer to $35,000, which is below the poverty line for a lot of people. So what's the problem, right? Let's talk about the problem, and then we'll talk about solutions. So the traditional real estate model has created a massive income gap. While most agents are fighting over the same commission splits on cookie-cutter transactions, sophisticated professionals, which hopefully all of you will become, are building wealth using strategies most agents have never heard of. Sub-2, novations, lease options, seller finance. So if you're here or watching this at home and a lot of those facts hit too close to home, don't worry. We're going to talk about the solution and how to fix it. So the solution, right? Transform from a transaction-dependent agent into a real estate investment specialist who creates multiple income streams from every opportunity. Like one of our community members, Eddie. I always put him on my slides. So he actually made $98,000 from a single novation deal. And we have a lot of these success stories. We have agents that their first wholesale deal made $73,000, $40,000. We're playing with bigger numbers in the investment space. So I want to equip you guys with the tools so you can do more deals, but also bigger deals. Really exciting.
Yeah, and Eddie does both.
Yeah.
So I think in your mind, I don't want you guys to think like it's one or the other. Like he's an agent, he does traditional residential resale transactions. When these opportunities present themselves though, he has the product knowledge and the proximity to Aidelys to be able to put them together. Does that make sense? So it's not either or, it's both.
Yeah. That blockage of how to work it and still be on the right path, like not screwing someone over if they don't want that.
Sure.
So the reality is you can do both, guys. You can offer both. And I come from a space where it was all agents who didn't want to work with investors. And then I transitioned to working with investors that didn't want to work with agents, and it never made sense to me.
Yeah, and a thing I think is so important, because I hear from you guys all the time, like if you go back to your offices and talk about this stuff, they'll be like, that's a scam. They're literally dissuading you away from product knowledge that will allow you, because what the product knowledge allows you to do is to convert. So in other words, we've talked about this before. When I was on like Pace Morby's wholesale hotline, he asked me, he's like, hey, why don't agents like interact with investors, and how come investors don't go to agent events? I'm like, well, two reasons. One, you guys talk a lot of smack. Okay? Like I didn't hop on this call and I was like, oh, you guys are the ones that flood my emails with lowball offers. I'm like, I didn't do that. But the moment they see me, they're like, oh, you're a real estate agent? So that's number one. Number two, we have the same avatar. It's a motivated, qualified seller. Yes? So what I told him is, look, your community can learn from our community how to sell. Because don't get it twisted. The way she's able to put these deals together, she is a rock star salesperson. She spent 2 years working with me individually, learning how to sell. How to pre-qualify, how to set appointments, how to handle objections, how to present, like, that's the core of what she does. She stacked product knowledge on top. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's what we're talking about here. I just want you guys to be clear. It's not either or, it's both. Right. And because you have this product knowledge, now you can convert more of the leads. Because you know what you'll do? If somebody needs one of these solutions, you'll be like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And then they'll go to Aidelys and make $98,000 while you're showing your picture of you in an open house. Yeah. Or your stupid key with your closing. Wait, for everybody at home. Don't do that.
So that's funny, because when I started coaching with Aaron, I used to take pictures at the showings, and that he looked up right, and he's like, nope, never do that again. All right, guys. So, and I believe this could be any of you too, right? I share with you guys this information because any of you could do it. Eddie did it. A lot of people that are working with us right now in our community are doing it, and what it takes is strategy and the skill and the product knowledge. Once you have that.
A great example of that would be the deal you just did with Mark Ramey.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was listed with 2 agents, guys. who only had one solution, yes, didn't sell. He, because he's in the environment and he's been hearing this, he came to the Do More Deal Summit where Pace Morby was there, and we're talking about this. He started to get some PPL, those pay-per leads, people that raise their hand. Okay, what I need you guys to understand is when you guys don't sell their homes, they're talking to them. While you're still listed with them, do you know what they're doing? Hey, this isn't working. We need a cash offer. And they go online and they talk to somebody else. Why are you allowing them to do that? You know what you're doing? Imagine all this money walking out the door. See you later. I'm going to go to somebody else. Yes? Because we don't have the product knowledge. He stepped in, they put a deal together, the seller's super happy, they got the money, and Mark made like $40,000 something like that?
Well, we haven't closed it yet, but
right, but
that's what we're going to do.
like 40?
Yeah.
Hey, is that better than like a punch in the face? Yes, that's amazing. Yeah. Why? Because he had proximity and product knowledge. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love Mark. He was on a call with me.
He loves you too now, bro. I promise.
He was on the phone.
He's your best friend, dude.
He was mind blown because a lot of what I do is I do on the phones just because I'm so good on the phones right now, tonality, handling objections. So it was a one-call close. We did it from beginning to end. We got the contract signed in one conversation. I got the guy down to like 20,000. He wanted a higher number. So Mark was blown away. He was like, what? You could do this?
And Aidelys let him sit on the call for the whole thing so he could learn.
Yeah.
I asked, did he have the listing?
No.
Okay,
So in other words, this seller on the market, two different agents. Right as their last listing agreement is about to expire, they go online because they need a cash offer. Mark started getting these cash offers based on guidance. It's the third lead he got. You're like, you know how much that lead cost him? $300. He's going to make $40,000 off $300.
Right.
Well, oh, but I don't want to spend it on my commission. I want to keep it all. Yes? Do you see what I'm saying? When you put those two together, it becomes a supercharger. Now you're no longer like, I only have one option to provide you. I'm like, hey, whatever option you want, I can help. And either way is fine. I'm not attached to any of the options. Does that make sense? Because how many of you guys, I want you to watch this. Show of hands. How many of you guys have had somebody, I do not care how much you can get on the open market, I want a cash offer. How many? Show of hands. Raise your hand. Yeah. And what did you do? Nothing. And then you know where they went? Here. And he made $98,000. Wake up.
Hey, Mark's watching live and he says, I love you.
I love Mark.
He's your best friend, bro, for sure.
I love Mark. And Mark is actually, he's a really experienced agent. He's been doing this for a really long time. And now he's opened himself up to all these new ideas and new ways of doing business. So even someone that's had a lot of success isn't closed-minded to that idea. And now he's tapped into this new world of real estate that he didn't even know existed.
That's exactly
He's great. Love you, Mark. So this was me. My listing, guys. I know I was in your position. I felt the pain of driving, showing, watching deals fall through and commissions checks disappear. And I remember thinking there had to be a better way, and I was right. Real estate investing. Welcome to real estate investing. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be breaking down for you guys different creative ways to do deals, but I'm going to make it fun. These are things that we're implementing in our business, transactions that we've actually closed and been a part of. But I know we like games, so I want to keep it engaging for you guys. We're actually going to play a game. It's called How Much Money Are You Leaving on the Table?
Oh, it's going to be such a good game. You're going to want to throw up on the floor.
Nobody cry. It's all in good fun. I do want you guys to reflect on how not knowing the right solution is actually keeping you guys from making money and from hitting your goals. So I'm going to give you a scenario, and then I want you guys to write down what the solution is. If you know it, write it down. If you don't know it, put don't know. And then write down, after I give you the solution, how much money was made in that transaction. And then I want you guys to add up how much money you left on the table, because you didn't know. So we're going to get into it. How much money are you leaving on the table? Maybe we'll make this into
like a game show.
Like a game show. Ding, 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 ding. So the problem. So I'll read the problem to you guys, and I'll give you some time to kind of think through it. The seller needed to sell fast. He had a job in another state. He was flying every single week to be at this job. He was spending money on planes. The quality of life was suffering. He needed to sell the property, but there were repairs that needed to be done. There were plumbing issues. He didn't have the money or the time to fix it, and he just wanted out. He did not want to list it with an agent, so I'm making it easier for you guys here. Didn't want to fix up the home and didn't have the time to wait. So write down.
What you think the answer is.
Don't scream it. I'll give you guys the answer shortly, but I want to give you some time. What is the best solution for this type of seller? All right, is everybody done? Okay. Cash offer. Did anybody write down cash offer? Yeah. Awesome. It's going to get harder as...
Yeah, we're starting off easy.
It gets harder and harder.
I'm curious, did you write down, try to convince them to list it?
No, because...
Yes, hey, all of you guys should be like, that's exactly what I would do. Because I know that's what you would do. You understand? 100,000,000%.
Yeah. And what happens is a lot of times we'll have conversations with the sellers, and when you try to convince them to list, they don't want to list. And the more you try to convince them, the less they want to do it. And now you've lost rapport and you're pushing the seller away. So instead of convincing, I've learned this from Aaron, anytime you're convincing someone, you're done. You've already lost.
That's right.
So this actually came, I'll give you guys more information so you know this actually came from a Facebook ad. We got the lead under contract for $171. We wholesaled it. Our sales price was $280. And then our gross earnings on this was $108,000 off of one deal.
Wait, I'm sorry. What? How much off one deal?
$108,000.
Okay, your guys' response should be entirely different than what you're doing right now.
One deal.
No one throw up.
Yeah.
And this is a deal. Tatiana was actually a part of this deal. She helped us find a buyer for the deal, and she made $12,000 on this deal.
Hey, you're her new friend too, yeah? Yeah, we're buddies now.
And this was a deal we did virtually. I never saw the house in person. I never met with the seller.
Wait a minute, time out. Never saw the house, never met in person, but made $108,000. But Edwin, I keep being told to sit in open houses.
Yeah. So let's go to the next scenario. And this is just wholesaling. I want to give you guys, this is what the house looked like inside. There was plumbing issues under there. So what is wholesaling? Because I want to leave you with some education as well. So wholesaling, essentially 3 steps, is finding a distressed property or a motivated seller, negotiating with them, getting that property under contract, marketing the property to investors. So first step is finding that motivated distressed seller, which you guys are already doing because you're calling probates. Hopefully, you're all calling probates, divorce leads, pre-foreclosures. You're calling for listings, might as well call and offer another solution. So when you're having these conversations, if they want a cash offer, get it at a price where it makes sense for an investor. Well, get the property under contract and find a cash buyer, the investor, and assign the contract to them. You don't close on the property. You just get the contract, find the investor, and assign it. So
how much money does this cost you? 0. Cost of the lead, bro. That's it.
Yeah. And this is the opportunities that you guys are talking to already, all the sellers that you're having conversations with, a lot of them want cash offers. You're just not offering it. So here's another problem. The seller had inherited the property from his father, probate. He works full time, doesn't have the money to deal with the property. He knew exactly how much his home was worth and how much money he needed to put into it, but he didn't want to deal with it himself. The property needed to be cleaned out, some minor renovations needed to be done. He didn't want to deal with any of this. He just wants out. All right, write down your answers, guys. All right. Cash offer. Did anybody put cash offer?
Yeah.
Cash offer? Okay. So this is a cash offer, but it's a different strategy. So instead of wholesaling, which was the first option, we did a fix and flip.
So this one, just so everybody's clear, you actually take possession of the property. The other one, we're just flipping paper. I don't take possession of the property. This, you take possession, do the renovations, put it back on the market and sell it. Now, if you are going to do this, I think the other caveat is you need a team of people to help you to do it, because you want to, the issue here is speed. You want to get it renovated really fast and put it back on the market.
Yeah, which the first option, wholesaling versus fix and flip, it depends on the resources that you have, the time, the experience. With that first property, we don't live in Tampa, so we didn't want to take on a project. We could have actually made 150 to 200 if we fix and flipped it, but 100,000 is just as good for not doing absolutely anything to the property. So in this case, this was a local property here in Broward. We actually got this from a text message. Now we don't text anymore, but back then we were doing text message marketing. We got it under contract for 208. We fixed it up, put it on the market for 335, and we made 127,000 on this deal.
Yes.
Before and after. So we actually added a bathroom to this one. So this is what it looked like after. So fix and flip. So explain to you guys what fix and flip is. You buy a property under market value. You actually close on it, either through your own capital or through using private money or hard money loans. You fix up the property, you put it on the market, and then you find an end buyer and you sell them the property. So you make the difference between what you bought it for, the cost, holding costs, renovation costs, and then there's your profit margin after you sell it. All right, so I'll give you guys another scenario. The seller was relocating the moment the husband had passed away. She didn't want to be alone in Florida. The house was not renovated, but it was in decent shape. The roof was 1 year old, AC was newer. The husband was the one that handled everything in the house. This was someone that was elderly. She didn't want to deal with absolutely anything. And she had talked to cash buyers before, and the cash buyers were offering a lot lower than what she needed out of the deal. Most investors were coming in lower. She had a specific number she needed to make.
So she didn't like the lowball offers, and she wanted a higher offer. So that eliminates what? And which eliminates the other option, wholesaling. So what is the solution here? I did. Hey, my bad. I asked the question. Go ahead.
I'll give you guys the solution. Some of you may know what this is, but some of you may not. It's a novation. And I'll go over what a novation is for you guys. We actually got this lead from a Facebook lead. We got it under contract for $250. We listed it on the market. We sold it for $290 to a finance buyer using a conventional loan, and we made $40,000.
So, and I think it's important for everybody to understand what, like, technically a novation is. It's basically, I'm going to flip your prop. Oh, yeah. Well, it's basically where I'm going to flip your property, but I'm not going to take possession of it.
Right. So this is what the property looked like. So from an investment standpoint, the property, if I was to go and buy this property, I would want to fix and flip it completely and put it on the market. In order for me to do that, it needs to be at a low enough number for it to make sense for me as a fix and flipper or my buyer if I'm wholesaling it. So the numbers here didn't work for that, but novation is perfect. If you see the house,
it's in good shape.
It's in good shape, right? The roof was fine, the AC, so there's nothing structurally wrong with the house.
So in other words, those other guys who were they were trying to buy it at 200, or let's say, or 180.
180.
Yeah, the cash offers are like, dude, we're not going to do that because they need a bigger margin in order for it to make sense. So then another solution is okay, well, because it's in such good shape, I'll give you more, maybe $50,000 more than what they were offering, and you're like, oh, this is fantastic, right? There's still spread there, and the novation agreement, I'm basically telling you, I'm going to flip your home, I'm just not going to take possession of it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. And the seller loved it, she was happy. So what's a novation? So novation is a partnership with the seller. All that novation means is we're replacing one agreement with another. So we're negotiating with the seller, we're agreeing to a number, we're signing an agreement with the seller along with the novation paperwork, and then we're actually going to go ahead and list that property on the market. The seller is the owner throughout the whole period.
Yeah.
We never buy it, never exchange title. We agree with the seller, you're gonna get your number, and we're gonna handle everything else. So if there's any minor repairs that need to get done, we'll handle that, we'll pay commissions, we'll pay closing costs. So for someone like her that didn't want to deal with anything, didn't have the time, the energy, the resources, and just wanted a hands-off experience, and all she was focused on was this specific number, this was the perfect solution for her.
Yep.
I have a question. So when does she get the money?
At
When the property
closing.
Closes, yeah. We're actually,
You still have to wait.
yeah, we're listing the property on the market.
Then why wouldn't she go traditionally?
How many of you guys have ever spoke to a seller that says, I don't care what you tell me, I'm not putting it on the market?
Yeah.
How many people have, yeah, I've sold 2,000 homes in my career. People would say that to me. I'd be like, no. We'll make it easy for you, da-da-da-da. And what do they say? I don't care. Yes? So some people, they just don't want to be bothered by it. And some people too, they have this limiting belief, I don't want to pay you a commission. But you're happy to pay me 40 grand at the closing, which is fine, I guess so, if you're cool with that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Is that fake and a guarantee?
what do you mean?
You guaranteeing the price.
Essentially, but again,
But
like,
it's market driven, so you're really not guaranteeing anything.
yeah, well, I'm guaranteeing that they're going to get the 250.
Yeah. You're the one that you.
Well, I just know because I do the homework and I do the, if it sells, and I do the due diligence, and the homework
Yeah.
is such where like, with a very high degree of probability, there's 3 comps, they all sold for 300 and like that we could, and they sold within the last 90 days. There's a super high degree of probability and enough margin there, even if I'm wrong, like we'll still do, we'll still be okay.
All right, so you don't backstop it with a cash offer, just in case?
I mean, you could, but the problem is the cash offer is probably going to be way less.
A lot lower.
Yeah. And this innovation, this concept took me a while to understand too, because I came from the agent perspective and I always wanted to list it. And I never understood why a seller would let someone else list their home on the market. There's a whole strategy behind it. We're pricing these properties very, very aggressively, so we know it's going to sell.
Yeah.
If not, we're not locking it up because we're spending time, energy, resources, so is the seller. So this I think it was 290 was our asking price. This 290 that we sold it at, we were under everybody
Everything.
else.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we
yeah.
undercut the
So are
market.
you JVing on the net?
No, we made 40,000. The seller made 250.
Got it, okay.
And there was no contract, no listing. It was
No, there's a
private-
special
it was
agreement.
a private contract between
Yes.
you and the seller.
Yeah. It always starts with an agreement with the seller first, and then we list it on the market, and there's a second agreement. This is where the term novation comes in. We're replacing that initial agreement with the second agreement, which is the end buyer agreement.
It ends up it supersedes, it
Yeah,
takes the
it
place.
supersedes. One
Yeah.
replaces the other.
But if you're doing the novation yourself, you're gonna have another agent listed, right?
Yeah,
You're
so
not
just-
gonna list it under your name?
Not under my name because my name is on the corporation. So usually what I'll do is we'll either use another agent or a flat fee company just to make it so we're under the guidelines and it's not, you're trying to put your hands into the bucket. Yeah, I wouldn't list this myself. I would have a partner list these, yeah.
Or to your point, you could do a JV if that other agent is a partner.
Yeah. So, and just to tell you guys, on this specific transaction, we did help the seller and we provided value. So it's not just that we're listing the property on the market and that's it. We helped her, we did a clean out of the property because she moved to another state. So we actually paid money to have the property cleaned out. There were repairs that needed to be done during the inspections and the appraisals, which she didn't have the money to do. She actually moved out and let us handle everything. We cleaned out the property, we did inspection and appraisal repairs, and she was super happy.
So would you say that one of the main, because I know for agents, it's really it's not only product knowledge, but it's mental barriers. So would you say one of the main mental barriers is where we think that everybody optimizes for money, period, end of story?
Yeah.
When in fact, how many of you guys have done something and you didn't care how much it cost? Just to solve a problem. Yeah? Ever have your AC go out on a weekend and they charge you an extra fee? Do you care? No, fix it right now. Yeah? This is no different. Like they just want a problem and they want it solved. And what you're doing as an agent is I'm only going in with one option. And then they're like, you really can't help me. And then they find somebody who can. Does that make sense?
Yeah, convenience, the biggest limiting belief that I had to overcome in this space is that people want more money or are more focused on money because I came from an agent background of we're gonna list it and get you the most money on the market. And I realized that a lot of these sellers, they don't care about more money, they just care about having that problem solved. And if you can solve that problem in a way that's stress-free and easy for them, a lot of times that's better for them than making more money if it's a more complicated and longer route.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just true.
So novation, and here's what the deal looked like.
Yeah, you went through that.
Yeah. Okay, here's another problem. So the seller was in a financial problem with her daughter. The daughter was sick. They had put themselves in financial issues because of all the medical bills that they were having to pay. They were behind on their payments 3 months. They had gone under contract with an investor on a cash offer, and the investor did not close. They didn't have enough equity to list the property on the market. They would actually have to bring money to closing, and they didn't have any money.
Oh, this is good. Because I know you guys, you know what you would do instead? You'd be like, well, we can list it a little higher, so maybe I can squeeze in my commission. And then it won't sell. So what's the solution? Shh. That is the answer, yes.
Stop asking. Somebody cheated and gave the answer, but yeah, subject to. Subject to. So we actually, on a deal where there was no equity, we actually made $11,000.
How did you do that, Aidelys?
I don't know, magic. Yeah, so subject to, guys, did I put a slide on what subject to is? No, I actually missed this one, but I'll tell you guys what subject to is. So all that subject to means is we're buying the property subject to the existing mortgage, meaning we're keeping the mortgage in place and title is going to be transferred. There's
Does that
other
make
ways.
sense? So the mortgage.
So VA or FHA, it's an assumable mortgage, right?
Yeah. So the best thing that this had going for it, what was the interest rate?
Yeah, I think it was like 3%.
3% interest rate. It's gold.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Somebody in the live stream wants to know if you need power of attorney to list it.
Yeah. So we get a limited power of attorney to list the property. Yeah, exactly. So with novations, you could have the seller actually sign the listing agreement, or you get a limited authorization so you can sign listing agreements for them. Yeah, that's a good question.
But here with this sub 2, if like here, go back to the problem. Because you see this as pattern recognition. I have to be able to recognize the pattern because how many times have you spoke to somebody that was like this, had no equity, bought in 2022, 2023, has a low interest rate, but they have no equity? And what do you say to them? I can't help you. Or you got to do a short sale. That's it. Or we can try to list it higher and squeeze in my commission, and it doesn't sell. Yeah? So here, you look at all these problems. It's like, oh, here's the problems. Here's what's going on. But what is the thing, even though there's no equity, what is the thing that this has that's very valuable?
Low interest
A
rate.
very low interest rate. So if you have a 3% interest rate in an environment where it's 7, dude, that's valuable. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And we're seeing a lot of these opportunities come up on the market, a lot of them. I mean, daily we're talking 4 or 5 people that bought and are over leveraged and now they can't sell because there's no equity.
So a really cool search in MLS, whoever bought between 2021 and 2022 with a VA or FHA loan, call them. Because they're having if they can't sell, I mean, if they have to sell, they have a problem because they have no equity. But they have a very low interest rate and you can put these deals together.
Yeah, and assuming versus taking subject to is different because I know you mentioned that. Assuming is I'm going through the process of getting qualified to assume that loan. Here we're just taking it over subject to. The loan stays in place and we take over title and take over the loan. It's a different process.
Through the title company and the
Yeah.
HOA, because most of the mortgages are not assumable.
Yeah, so we're not assuming the loan, right? That's where we get into,
So you get it into a quick term deed and then,
we're going through a licensed and insured, title companies do this all the time. We get a licensed and insured, we get title insurance. The only thing that changes in the HUD is that it says there is a loan that's being taken over subject to.
Corrado from New Jersey wants to know.
Let's go, bro. It's interactive. I
Corrado
like
in
this.
the house. He was actually one of my role play partners back in the day. What's up?
He wants to know if the seller was initially stern on not listing the property, how are you then influencing them to list when doing novation?
So a novation is an experience, right? So for example, you could go grocery shopping, but there's an app that does that for you. So there's a convenience factor. So for this seller specifically, a novation made sense because she wanted the experience of the cash offer, but she wanted more money. So we gave her the experience of the cash offer, no commissions, no closing costs, no repairs. We made this a hands-off experience for her and a hands-off experience process, but we gave her more money. So we solved the problems that she had.
Does that make sense?
So you focus on solving the problem, not so much the process. Are we going to list it on the market? Yes, but I'm not hyper-focused on the fact that I'm going to list it on the market and it may take X amount of time. I'm focused on solving the problem and how that experience is going to be for that seller, which is what they care about.
Since you were behind in the mortgage, did you put like more money down
Yeah.
to cover the cost?
Yeah,
The buyer.
that's a good question. So for subject to deals, the buyer actually brought the mortgage current, which helped the seller out because they avoided foreclosure. Now the payments were current, it impacted their credit positively, and the buyer got a property where they got a really low interest rate.
And what buyer wouldn't be willing to do that to get a 3% interest rate? Everybody.
And it has to be VA and FHA.
Yeah, any loan, VA, FHA, conventional.
Commissioner too?
Yeah.
What process
Because you're not
are you doing?
assuming it. You see, that's the thing that you guys are getting stuck on. You're not assuming the loan. That's not what's happening. The loan is actually staying in their name.
But you're transferring it.
But I'm transferring title.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that make sense?
And how does the lender, doesn't have a problem with that?
Well, I mean, they have a due on whatever.
sale clause,
Sale
yeah.
clause, but you're not like,
What do you
These
do
deals
to
happen-
avoid that? I guess this is better for you.
Yeah.
Your course.
My course, yeah. Well, we could get into the specifics of how to do that. At the end of the day, the reality is the lender doesn't really care as long as the
long as the
payments,
payments are
being
getting
made.
made.
Yeah, so we get stuck in a lot of stuff and then we don't get the deal done. The lender does not care as long as the payments are being done. There is a due on sale clause which the lender can enforce. Most of the time they don't because they're getting paid every single
Yeah,
month.
and to them, really, what's happening is like their loan that they made is still in place. Does that make sense? It's still in place with that person. And all they care about is that that person, whether it's them or somebody else, does what? Make the payments.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's up? Oh, I gave you guys the answer. Darn it. I'll give you guys the scenario because this is relevant to all of you agents. So the seller had actually moved to another state. He had the property listed for 80 days with an agent, and the property was not selling. He had already gone through the process of being a landlord, and he didn't enjoy it. The property's in New Orleans, and the seller lived in Florida, so he didn't want to rent it. He had it on the market with an agent. So then he submitted a cash offer form, and guess who actually got the deal done?
Yeah.
He canceled his agreement with the agent and told the agent, that's it, I'm looking for other options.
All because the agent couldn't give him a solution.
Shocking. So I already gave you guys the answer, but either way. So this is an interesting one. I actually just came from New Orleans to visit this property. We bought this property ourselves. So not only are we doing deals, but we're also building passive income and creating wealth. So this property, we actually gave the seller $30,000 down. It's a seller finance transaction.
So meaning that he owned the property free and clear.
Mm-hmm. There was no mortgage. Difference between subject to and seller finance is there's no mortgage. So all of you guys that are going to listings, if your sellers have a property that's paid off, hey, Mr. Seller, would you be open to seller finance? It's part of the pre-qual script. So if you guys are have Aaron's pre-qual script that's there, we're giving the seller $800 a month. And guess what interest rate we're paying on this?
Are you serious?
0% interest rate.
He was fine with that. He was like, yeah, that's fine. As long as you gave him the payment that he wanted.
0%. Well, I know how to negotiate, so we
right.
didn't start off there. 10 years. So we have 10 years to pay this off. The purchase price is $210,000. We just rented it for $2,100, and we're cash flowing on that property $700 after paying all expenses.
So think about that though in terms of return on capital. So $700 times 12 is like, what is that? $8,400 or something like that? All they're into it is $3,000. So in 3 years they get all their money back.
Right.
And then it's infinite. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the neat thing too is
How much? 28% return on the $30,000.
Yeah, the neat thing, which is now we're getting
Well,
into
my bank
higher-
gives me 3.
Yeah. Yeah. The neat thing about this deal, which now we get into higher level strategies, for those of you that think you can't build a portfolio because you don't have money, we actually raised the capital. This $30,000. Yeah.
You didn't use your own money?
No.
Wow.
So we have zero money into this deal. We raised the $30,000.
Did you give equity for that, or what did you do?
Yeah, we
okay.
pay them. Yeah. We pay them monthly. We pay our private money monthly. So we raised the $30,000. We're giving the seller $800. Our interest rate is 0%, and we have 10 years, and we're cash flowing.
After you pay the money back to the people that gave it to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
They're paying taxes, insurance, and our private money lender, we're making $700.
So they didn't use any of their money, even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
10-year balloon?
Yeah, 10-year balloon. So in 10 years, whatever the balance is, we'll pay him $800. That goes towards the principal because there's no interest. So in 10 years, whatever the balance is, we're going to pay it to him. But the neat thing is, in 10 years, there's equity. So we can sell the property. We can refinance the property. And not only are we making money, but we're paying him back too. So
or you could do a seller finance to somebody else and charge interest.
Yeah, exactly. But this property is so great, I'll keep it forever.
Does he make you have insurance?
Yeah, we have insurance. Yeah. We have insurance on the property. He's a lender, right? So like Wells Fargo, Chase, yeah. You need insurance, yeah. So he's protected. So seller finance, you agree with the terms with the seller. So with seller finance, there's 4 things you have to agree on: purchase price, down payment, interest rate, and the repayment schedule, which is the time. There's always 4 things you're negotiating with seller finance. The seller transfers the property and holds a promissory note. There are states where it's done a little bit different, contract for deed, where title doesn't transfer until you are the owner of the property. In Florida, title does transfer. And then the buyer makes the monthly payments to the seller. He loves it. So essentially, we've replaced him from being a landlord and dealing with tenants from another state to now he's the bank.
Hey, what problem did they solve? What was he trying to get away from? Being a landlord, bro. Why would anybody give me a 0% interest rate? Because they had a terrible tenant. See, you see the limiting thinking? Why would anybody do that? Well, somebody will. If you get out of your own way and let them. Yeah, you guys are all reading that book now. Let them. Let them take 0%. Okay, I'm cool with that, right? And you're solving their problem and they're happy.
Yeah.
With that, is there any way the seller can have an acceleration clause where they want to demand all due short of the 10 years?
Everything is negotiable. We don't put that in our agreement because it doesn't benefit us.
Right, but have you seen the seller come back and say, hey, look,
Well,
don't want this anymore?
well, what I'm aware of is like there's levels of sophistication. So people that are sophisticated that have lent money before, they're probably going to want that. Or they'll be like, because I've done that on properties where I lent money and I'm like, hey, put me on the insurance. So if it burns down, I still get paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's different levels of sophistication based on like knowledge or whatever. But I don't like.
No.
He didn't care. He was like.
No, he didn't care.
Yeah.
He was happy. Yeah.
But it's good to know. You know what I'm saying? So if you bump across that and somebody asks it, you're like, okay, I see where you're coming from, and then it's a negotiation.
Yeah. The good thing about creative finance, especially seller finance, is it can be done in so many different ways, and both you and the seller have to agree to the terms. So if they want something like that which doesn't benefit me, I'm not going to agree to that, and I'm going to counter terms. So everything's negotiable.
Yeah.
That's the beauty. Nothing's set
And then
in
the
stone.
seller, the one providing the money ultimately gets to decide. So I need everybody to be clear on something. Investors play by a certain set of rules. Lenders play by a certain set of rules. You know who writes the rules for both? Lenders. So that individual actually has a lot of the leverage, but depending on their sophistication, if they haven't done it before, they may not ask for anything and just be like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually just from a negotiation standpoint, if they're already offering seller finance, it's someone that's savvy and understands it. You're not going to get the best terms with someone like that. Yeah. So if you can.
Those terms.
Yeah.
She wouldn't ask me for those terms, you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, I love you, girl, but no.
Everyone would be like, nah. Yeah, with and with seller finance, because I was like, why would someone ever do that? Is you have to know that it's possible, and then you have to believe in it, because you'll talk to 10 sellers that are going to tell you, no, I want you to do this or do that, and then it doesn't work, but then you'll talk to that one person that's like, yes. And all it takes is one person to get a really solid deal.
Mm-hmm.